Welcome everybody to the April Council meeting of the Naracoorte-Lucindale Council at Lucindale. And we acknowledge and respect our complex history, and we welcome everyone to build our future together. Live streaming. Please note that this meeting is being live streamed, recorded and published in accordance with the Council's live streaming and recording of public meetings policy. To those present in the gallery today, by attending a public meeting of Council, you are consenting to your image, voice and comments being recorded and published. Anyone who is invited to speak will be recorded, and their voice, image and comments will form part of the live stream and recording. Thank you very much. Declarations of interest. I don't believe we have any. Councillor Dennis has mentioned that he'll have a conflict a little later on. We haven't received this. We have someone in the public forum, but he hasn't approached me to make any commentary, so Jeff's here just to listen on. Have had no petitions or deputations, and I'd like, if someone would like to confirm the minutes of the March meeting. Councillor Turner, Councillor Goodman. All those in favour? Thank you very much. I understand there were no matters laid on the table. Ms Westall? No. Mayor's report. Mayor's report as tabled. I did actually omit from my report that I was in a meeting with Emily Burke, the Sport and Rec, and also the CFS Minister. She's a particularly nice young person, I thought, and look forward to working with her later on. Would someone like to second my report? Thank you, Councillor Grundy. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Elected members report. Councillor Goodman has provided a report. Thank you, my Deputy Mayor, Councillor Goodman. Any commentary? Negative. Thank you. It's all there. Perfect. Item 9, Chief Executive Officer's report. We welcome Kelly Westall to presiding over, or helping.
You're presiding.
I'm presiding, but there to keep me on the job. And I hope you enjoy your time with us at Naracoorte-Lucindale, Kelly.
Thank you.
And we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Have you got anything to add to your report?
I believe I have to stand in these meetings.
Yes.
To me. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to add. I was in the role for 2 weeks when I did this first report, so I didn't have a lot to say. But I will just follow up. Alex and I did meet with ASCOSA. It was a very positive meeting. And from ASCOSA's point of view, there were a couple of takeaways for me. One is they're comfortable that Council has good plans and is looking to spend money in the future on those plans, but they want to make sure that we've done good willingness to pay analysis so the community is willing to pay for those plans and keeps wanting that to happen. And the other thing, they were very keen to mention that they were quite supportive of the idea of a rating review as well. We explained that it was on the cards for this coming year, so they were very keen to see how Council progresses with that. I don't know if Alex wanted to add anything, but it was a pretty positive meeting. Thank you.
Would someone like to move that we receive the CEO's report? Councillor Downward, Councillor Island. Thank all those in favour. Thank you very much. Key projects. Mr. Willsmore, in lieu of Mr. Willsmore. Mr. Steed.
I've got nothing more to add than what's in the report there. Just an update on where we're at with our capital works programme and key projects. So I'll take any questions if there are any.
I note that it's all going well. On schedule, the weather's been kind.
The weather is being kind at the moment from capital works perspective, yes, thank you.
And when would you order the rain, Mr. Steed, to help with the start the grading process?
I think we should do that after Anzac Day to help with the local farmers as well. That would be, and that's when it should come in.
Very good. Like it. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Steed. Item 11 is the finance report. Mrs. Edmonds.
Our regular quarterly report this time, giving a bit more detail around investments, rate arrears, debtors' loans and loans to the community. Nothing further to add. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mrs Edmonds. Any questions?
I had a question for item 11.2, if we've got to that, or have we not
No, we
got to
haven't
that?
quite got to that, Councillor Grundy. And 11.2, request for consideration of discretionary rate rebate.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. So as per the report, we've had a local developer approach council with a request to consider a discretionary rate rebate program as the titles become available. Mr McCrosty's had a lot to do with the developer and the development as such, so he can probably provide more perspective around that side of things. This is more just to ask elected members whether you're willing to keep the conversation going in terms of the possibility. As per my report, if you are in support, we'll then put some figures together and look at a proposal moving forward. So I guess really it's in support or in complement of the policy that was adopted some months ago around business support. So happy to take any questions, either Mr McCrosty or I. Happy to answer.
Councillor Grundy.
Well, thank you, Mayor Ross. Yeah, look, this is a bit new to me as far as the idea and what have you, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I would have thought that maybe this should have had a sunset clause in it of some kind, and that maybe going along the lines of also, upon the sale of 50% of the properties, which might have incorporated the sunset clause. Not sure of how the mechanics might work, whether we could perhaps... whether you could add some commentary, please.
Certainly, from a rates perspective, the policy that was adopted late last year is along those lines in terms of number of properties sold and the sliding discount as the properties are sold off. So more than happy to tailor it based on what your thoughts are around the assessments and the land parcels as they sell. The policy that I referred to in our report are examples of ways in which one can approach the discretionary rate rebate process. So really at the end of the day, when it comes to, if we're looking to further the conversation and come back with some stats, more than happy to look at the likes of a sunset clause, determination around a sensible sliding scale or a sensible approach.
Thank you, Mrs Edmonds.
Paul, do you have
Mr
anything
McCroskey.
to add?
Thank you, Mayor Ross. Yeah, so in speaking with the developer, he's still unsure about how he's going to subdivide the blocks going forward as in sections or in a whole lot sum. So that's based on what council is willing to negotiate if there's a rebate before him, and then subject to that. So he's open to any option and any discussion that may be put forward to him. At this stage, he's supposed to ask the conversation of council, and he asked the conversation numerous times with our previous CEO and the opportunity. So now is to the point of ready for completion and issuing the titles to those blocks. The discussion needs to be had now, and that's the opportunity for us to sit at the table if council agree to those terms to look at what options we have, e.g. your sunset clause and how that's made up.
Thank you, Mr McCroskey. I've got Councillor Downwood.
Yeah, Mr Mayor, I just want to say that we're looking for to get people to develop, and I just think it's a way that we can demonstrate as a council that that we're able to assist and stand by them as they're doing development. So sunset clause comes into it. I don't mind how that's done, but I just think it's a good way for us to be able to move with anybody that's looking at developing now and in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Downwood. Councillor Maguire.
Happy to move it, Mayor, if that's okay.
Move.
It has moved, sorry.
No, there's two options.
We've got two options.
I'd like to move that council does agree to continue discussions with the local developer, and if I could speak to it, Mayor, just support what Councillor Downwood says. I think it's something that we should have probably done a long time ago.
Thank you, Councillor Maguire. Do we have a seconder? I've got Councillor Rayner. Thank you, Councillor Rayner. Any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, I'll put the motion that Council does agree to continue discussions with the local developer regarding the proposal of a discretionary rate rebate. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much. Item 12. Now I've got Regional Livestock Exchange. I'll ask for someone to move that the minutes of the Regional Livestock Exchange April the 2nd be read and noted. Moved Councillor Turner, seconded Councillor Ireland. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much. And the second recommendation is the financial report, 26th of March 2025 be noted and referred to the Audit and Risk Committee for consideration. Would someone move to that effect? Councillor Grundy, thank you. Seconded Councillor Turner. All those in favour? Carried, thank you. 13, reports for decision. Internal controls. Mrs Edmonds.
This one's fairly standard. We have a new corporate services officer, Olivia Roundtree, who needs to be added to our internal controls policy from an approval perspective, more so an individual rather than a job title. Things like bank transfers and approving processes require individuals to be listed, so that's what we're looking for as far as that goes. And that we change the procurement limits slightly to reflect $75,000 limit for Mr Willsmore, and just a tweak to the CEOs in terms of anything in excess of $100,000. So we have a multi-step process as far as approvals go with any
Can you actually explain the multi-step process, please, Ms Edmonds?
We have a creditors officer who processes different job titles within the council, or different positions have different procurement limits, which is the approval process through the policy. At that stage, an invoice gets assigned to the relevant procurement or purchasing officer or authorising officer. That's through our internal system, which is SynergySoft. At that point, then once those purchases have been approved, it then goes to a bank file, and that bank file can only be processed and approved by 2 authorising officers, and hence why it becomes an individual's position rather than a job position. Does
Thank
that
you.
help? Yep.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks.
We just wanted to make sure, I just wanted to ensure everybody here that the checks and balances, within our organisation are there, and so thanks for explaining that, Mrs Edmonds.
Question, if I may.
Councillor
Just seeking clarification, the Chief Executive Officer authorisation limit, is that up to 100,000 or greater than 100,000?
100,000 and greater. So that's the only position on council that can approve anything in excess of $100,000 for payment at the bank level.
And there's no upper limit on that.
Subject to budget.
Yes.
Great answer.
And of course, things like the big contracts come through council for
Yes.
approval anyway.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Very good. Would someone like to move to that effect? Councillor Goodman. A seconder, please. Councillor Ross. No further discussion. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much. Code of practice for council and committee meeting procedure.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. This is a pretty simple one as well. It's a requirement under legislation for this code of practice to be reviewed at least once every financial year. So here it is. We had quite a significant number of changes to this last year, so it's suggested that we make no changes this financial year.
Thank you, Mrs Collins.
As is. Very easy.
Would someone like to move to that effect? Councillor Downwood, Councillor Turner. Any discussion? All those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much. 13.3, Community Art Fund. Mrs. Collins.
Mayor Ross. This is an annual event, obviously. This year we received 2 very high calibre submissions, which was great. So in consultation with our Arts and Cultural Facilitator Jane Ellis, we've recommended that we support both of these applications with supplementary funding that we've got available through our partnership with Country Arts SA for this financial year, and also through our public art budget line. So this will then allow us to meet all of our budgetary expectations in the public art field for this financial year. So it's a win-win, really. Anyone have any questions? I'm happy to take them and answer them if I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Collins. You explained that it was all within your budget,
Yep.
and the money was there. Thank you very much. Would someone like to move the recommendation? Councillor Maguire. Seconder, please. Councillor Goodman. Thank you. All those in favour? Carried. Against? Thank you. Operations report. Mr. Steed.
Mayor Ross. There's our monthly operation reports about what the operations team have been up to. And involves our Parks and Gardens team and the fantastic work that they're doing, preparing for Anzac Day, obviously this Friday. The flagpole in the town square has been painted and the war memorial's been cleaned, all done in-house by our own staff, which is great. The memorial service held here in Lucendale on the 6th was well attended. We assisted in putting the concrete slab down for the memorial there for Jason Doig. And then the other main bit of work that we've done this year internally with our maintenance staff is we hired in our own vacuum trailer to undertake side entry pit cleaning. Historically we've usually got a contractor in to do that. So we've gave it a go ourselves, and it seems to have worked quite well, so it's something that we'll look to do again in the future. We've also done some bridge maintenance around the area, just tidying up some guardrails and bits and pieces, which we engaged a contractor for. I'll take any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Steed. And can I just pass on that the work that the council did and administration, most probably from your sector, in regard to the Doig Memorial and working with Police Legacy was noted, and they were delighted to operate with you. So thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to also say that I've heard quite a bit around town about the gun with the flowers that have been draped over the gun. So Heather's done that. It's been fantastic. Looks really good. And congratulations.
Well done. And who's responsible for that, Mrs. Collins?
Mayor Ross, there's a local knitting group who have they did a call out a few months ago, came to us with the idea and asked if it would be possible, as obviously the field gun's located in the town squares, and so they got knitting, and they had contributions from all over the state, which was fabulous, and it all came together at the start of last week. And we'll leave the installation there. It's only a temporary installation for probably a week or so after Anzac Day, and then we may look at moving it into another council facility.
Marvellous.
So, yeah, it's had a lot of great feedback.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Are we at 14.2, Planning and Compliance? Mr. McCroskey.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. Just quickly to note, the Limestone Regional Plan is out for public consultation at the moment. I'm aware that some elected members had the opportunity to listen to that via Teams a fortnight ago. It's due to close on the 17th of June. Council have been lucky enough to have a presentation by the department, and that's set for the 13th of May between 5 and 6. So it'll be great to see the elected members attend that one to better understand the regional plan. Happy to take questions.
Thank you, Mr. McCroskey, and I think that getting them to give us our own plan update and what it means, I think, well done. Thank you. Councillor Goodman.
I did attend the online session that was run about the regional plan, and it's quite involved, and I think you can download it as a PDF, but equally there's lots of interactive maps that you can look at, and I think that given the breadth of issues that it covers, it's great that we've been able to get that presentation for our district. I have had a look at the Your Say survey that is available for people to fill out about the regional plan, and I would say that it's quite generic. It doesn't seem to offer a whole lot of opportunity for people to drill down into things or prompt people's thinking about that. So I guess from our council perspective, would it be the expectation that as a council we would write a submission on the regional plan, addressing the things that are of interest to our council area. After the presentation that we received.
Thank you, Councillor Goodman. As per my report, it's expected that every council will put in a written submission. Council staff will put one in from their perspective, but I also suggest that if elected members want to put in their individual or one together from council as a whole, and that's advised also as well. So we're happy to bring that together and put a submission as a whole for council if that's the direction they'd like to head. Probably worth having a discussion after the workshop.
After the workshop, exactly, because we've got till June to have it in. Thank you, Mr McCroskey. Councillor Grundy.
I read it fairly briefly, and it touched on rural land use to some degree a little bit, and while it's probably looking to target infrastructure in a more meaningful way, I get all of that, but I wouldn't like to see it get too prescriptive when it comes to agricultural lands in particular. We've seen over the decades many land uses change, and I think is this aiming for 50 years, I think it is, or something to that extent. I wouldn't like to see it get too prescriptive when it comes to rural land use in particular. And while I'm on my feet, the stubble burning permits, I'm glad to see that there's an audit being carried out on them, and I'm pleased to see that they've all been ticked off and there were no problems, and I look forward to a prompt start to the stubble burning season next year.
Well, you'd be preempting. Councillor Grundy. Thank you. 14.3, Community Engagement Report. Mrs Collins, you're on your feet a lot.
Up and down like a yo-yo. Thank you, Mayor Ross. Obviously, we're just finalising plans for the Narraport Anzac Day service, which should be great. And, of course, just after that, Lucindale RSL sub-branch will hold a service out here as well. Council will have representation at both services with Lane Reeds. I encourage you all to attend either or both services. It's great. This year will be the 110th anniversary of the Gallipoli landing, which is quite significant. So look forward to seeing you all there bright and early. Apart from that, nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs Collins. Any questions? Councillor Turner.
Just I clicked on one of the links today because I was looking to try and find, at the end of this report we've got the spend map for Narraport by month. Is that, am I not having a correct look, or is that part of it not on our website? Because the other part, the part that is on the website, the link took me to, was the quarterly reports up until the end of December.
Correct.
Do we think about, or do we publish the monthly one anywhere, or not? Not yet.
We haven't at this stage, but we certainly can. We thought we'd kick it off just by publishing the quarterly ones, just because they've got more comprehensive information and more information for people to take in. But if you think it's a good idea, it's really easy for us to do that. Really, really easy.
I sort of created an email and I was going to forward that link to some key people in the business, and then I realised, well, I'm forwarding only up to December at the end of last year.
Correct, yeah.
And I was sort of more interested in what happened in January, February, March, which is in the data you provide us.
Correct.
I think the more timely it is that we could maybe forward to business people and stakeholders in the region.
Which we've started doing. I've got the email that I sent out not long ago to the elected members.
Yeah, it's a great report.
Yeah, it's got some great data in it.
It really is, yeah.
Unfortunately, we're always going to be probably a month and a half behind with how the data comes into SpendMap, and then how our agendas coincide. Like, we received the March data after this agenda went out, so we couldn't include that. But I'm more than happy to add another dimension to the web page and have those monthly reports on there as well. That's really easy to do.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mrs Collins. Is it possible that the data, as you alluded to, even though we get it in and it can't be included within the agenda, that's not particularly relevant to getting it out to the business sector or whatever, so we can get it out as soon as we receive it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs Collins.
Yeah. And could I just ask a question? This is for the laymen that have no idea. I think I've got some idea. I'll take a guess. So this is the banks that are mapping people's credit card transactions in the region, and they can determine where they shopped and pretty much the type of product that they shop for, whether it's food or clothing or.
Correct.
So it's actually fairly accurate data based on the banks, based on, I would say, credit or debit card transactions. It doesn't capture everything, but it pretty much captures the trend.
Correct.
Yeah. Thanks.
Spot on.
Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you. Item 15. There is nothing. Item 16, questions without notice. There are none. 17, motions with notice. None. Questions without notice.
Can I please go back to questions without notice?
It's next.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
With leave of the meeting, Councillor Grundy, please.
In anticipation of our meeting on May the 20th, I was wondering whether we could perhaps have a look at a roads inspection amongst ourselves, by way of the regular bus trip. So I just wanted to flag that.
Through you, Mayor. Thank you. Yes, so Mr Stead and I have had a discussion about that today, and that is definitely doable. So I just want to get a little bit more context about what you want to see and how we'd get the most value out of that trip. But that is definitely something we can arrange.
Thank you, Councillor Grundy.
Thank you.
Questions without notice? There are none. Motions without notice? There aren't any. Matters the CEO recommend for consideration in confidence. Councillor Dennis.
Yeah, brilliant.
We shouldn't be so flippant, but
yes.
Thanks for your attendance,
Well, I'm the only
Councillor.
one that has to leave.